I don't think that's a bad move. It's a really good move, I think. We're just pinning, and that looks almost winning. The good old pin and win, right? Good old pin and win. Ooh, I'm seeing a very nice checkmate potential. Welcome back, everybody. My name is Emil Stefanov, International Master, and this is weekly scenario number 32 in Noctie. Let's get started. This weekly scenario is all about bringing down the GOAT. And by the GOAT, of course, we're meaning Magnus Carlsen. This position comes from the TePe Sigeman Tournament that happened earlier this year in 2026. And this is round 4, Jorden van Foreest versus Magnus Carlsen. Jorden was eventually able to defeat Magnus Carlsen, but this game was full of turning points, turning events. It was a very chaotic game. Eventually, Van Foreest was able to win. It happened from a Najdorf Sicilian, where Van Foreest played a sideline. Magnus was not able to play the best moves, and we reach this situation. Here, this position, Magnus is down in exchange, playing with the black pieces. He's down in exchange. He does have 5 pawns and 2 knights versus a bishop, rook, and 4 pawns. That's the way that we should sort of try to count the material. Whenever we have down in exchange positions, it's very important to include 2 knights, or if it was 2 bishops, it will be 2 bishops, because those pieces have ways that they can interact with each other. They can sort of coordinate each other. Same thing goes for the bishop and the rook, okay? So ultimately, we're not quite in a winning position. The reason why is we don't have enough pawns. We only have 4 pawns. The only way that we're going to really win is if we go for some sort of a checkmating attack, or we just promote one of our extra pawns to a queen. So really, it is a spectacularly tough position to try to win, but we'll do our best. I'm going to start with the move that Jorden did in the game, because I think it's the most natural move. And then in the second game, I'm going to show you the best move, and the reason why it's such a hard move to make. So we'll start with the move that Jorden did. For those of you who remember the game, it was Rook A8, just trying to attack the pawn on A6. And after the move Rook A4, Jorden continued with a very logical move. And I think that's a perfectly fine move. Obviously, Rook A4 defends the A6 pawn. Again, if we can try to get a pass pawn, that would have been great. So currently we can play C4. You can see an excellent move by Noctie. Of course, we're just trying to promote this pawn. We're going to do everything possible to promote this pawn. Now, Noctie, I think, has a choice. Does it take this pawn, which would in turn allow us to take this pawn, or does it take that one? Noctie chose to do none of the above and played the move King E6. A very fascinating move indeed. So now I am stuck for choice. I can play a lot of things. I can play Rook C1, I can play Bishop B6, try to advance the pawn, of course. Obviously, I can go C5, I can go Rook C1. There's a lot of options that I can do. I'm assuming King E6 was played with the intention of dodging any sort of Rook A7 checks. Maybe the king is also better positioned because who knows? It's on a light square, so no checks from the bishops are possible. But really, as I said before, it is quite a complex game. I think the Rook C1 does make a lot of sense. It's a very logical move. We're just going to try to push the pawn as quickly as we can. And I quite like that. If we can see Noctie saying it's a good move, I believe so too. We have a very basic plan. Again, we are up material, but it's a very complex position. We're not going to be able to trade down as in other positions that we would be able to. And we should put all of our hopes on this one pawn. So let's just go C5. Let's just go fully in it. But now I'm realizing there's knight G4, and there's some, or knight D5, and there's some unfortunate business going on here. Oh man, we cannot play C6 because then Noctie will take C7. It looks like we're promoting, but of course Noctie can take and basically checkmate us. Oof. Yeah, I think maybe C5 was the incorrect move, right? Yeah, it's kind of unfortunate. It almost feels like our bishop should be slightly better positioned. Yeah, it's just really unfortunate. Yeah, let me go back. Let me take a take back. I can't go there. This will be taken. If I go here, yeah, I'm just kind of walking into a checkmate problem. Yeah, let me go back. Let me go back. Maybe, yeah, maybe here it's okay. Maybe we could put the bishop on b6, kind of like Jorden did in the game. There was only one problem with that. The problem was knight d5 later was hitting the bishop on b6. But really, what else is there, right? If we are uncertain of what we want to do, we can always click on the show ideas. We can see bishop b6 being one of the possible moves. c5, but we kind of figure that that's a little too chaotic there. I'll go bishop b6, kind of following in the footsteps of Jorden van Foreest. Yeah, just playing all for the pawn. Bishop b6 controls key squares. Knight d7 though, Noctie is doing a pretty good job of trying to make it as hard as possible for me. c5 takes. There is no back ranks checkmate. This time the king will walk. And after c5, how does Noctie continue? Because if you take, that pawn is still very dangerous. And if you attack my bishop, I will take the pawn on a6. Yeah, I'll go c5 here. I think that's a good move. Yeah, I think that's fine. We just protect this. Yeah, I mean, rook b2 does seem like a very logical move. I'm not going to lie, though. King d5. Okay, so that's the way Noctie stops it. Oh, Noctie's trying to put the king on c6. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, obviously the pawn's also kind of hanging. I don't think fully right now, but yeah. Okay, we could go rook d8 though, right? I don't think that's a bad move. It's a really good move, I think. We're just pinning, and that looks almost winning. The good old pin and win, right? Good old pin and win. Ooh, I'm seeing a very nice checkmate potential. King c6, okay, I gotta give the check. I gotta keep annoying Noctie's king. King b5 makes sense. Or king d5, both moves make sense. I think towards the center is a little bit more correct, if I have to guess, because this way we go rook b1 maybe. Yeah. But again, c6, we're losing our bishop. That's one of the drawbacks there. But maybe rook c7, we hit the rook, hit the knight with the rook. Yeah, we have the pass pawn. We're trying to push it. We're trying to support it. And Noctie is just trying to counter us by all means necessary. So knight f6, I think that's a win for us. I think that's definitely a win. We could take this pawn. I think that's just an extra pawn, but I think we keep the adventure going. Keep pushing the pawn as much as possible. Now that's a threat. Now that's a threat. Rook d7. Yep. Knight d6. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But oh, is this a mistake by Noctie? Do we still have knight d7? Oof, very close. There is knight b7. Probably winning that endgame, but not entirely sure if we like 100% are winning. There is rook f7 as well. I mean, it's kind of a little bit more of a chaotic move, but we still have that possibility. What else do we have? What else do we have? Maybe we have a check that will allow king e6, bishop c5 will hit the knight. If it goes back, then we'll give a check, and then c7 and just promote. Yeah, I'm kind of liking that. Rook d1 goes there, bishop c5 goes there. We trade. I go rook d7. I mean, it's looking like I've made fantastic progress. So yeah, well, let's go for it. Rook d1 check. Unless I've missed something. Noctie saying this is a mistake. I probably have missed something then, yeah? What have I missed against this move? Or maybe it's just the fact that I had a way simpler win. I'm probably complicating it a little bit. Oh, is it knight f5 I've missed? No, this one I definitely did not miss. This one I saw rook e7, forces the king out this way. It's a very passive king, and now c7. Just promote. Just promote. We were successful. Definitely Noctie could have played slightly better here and there. But it just comes to show that it's an extremely hard endgame to win. So finally we get a free queen, and the checkmate now is going to fall through any minute now. But again, very hard to win for sure. Alrighty. Let's go back into the starting position and replay this one more time. Now, we have increased the difficulty. The previous game was bishop 5 difficulty. Now we're to rook 5. And now I'm going to play the best move. So I mentioned that rook 8 is the move that Jorden van Foreest did. It's an okay move, but really the best move is this very, very, very particular bishop c1 move. It's a really good move because it allows the bishop to go to the a3 square. So we see Noctie playing rook takes c2. Maybe later we can show what you can do against rook a4. But rook takes c2, the way that this plan now is going to work out is we are foregoing our ability to sort of get a pass pawn, right? So we're going to go bishop a3 check. And now what we're going to do is we're going to fully focus on attacking the king, right? So we'll go rook a8, we'll attack the pawn. Sure, we can lose this pawn in the process, so we're only going to be down left to these two pawns, but that's going to be very, very dangerous for Noctie's king. So we can see Noctie choosing to play rook c6, covering the a6 pawn. But now this is where we continue our plan of trading down for once we can actually initiate trade downs. So we're going to go rook c1, excellent move. We're trying to get rid of the c6 rook, because if we are able to get rid of this rook, then we will be able to win this pawn. And exactly, we're going to continue putting up the pressure on Noctie. So we're going to go rook ac8. This is very much a sort of only approach to the position. Every single move I've made has been the top move, purely because we're continuing with our plan of making sure that we can take this pawn. It's a very, very, very different plan from what we saw in the first game and what happened in Jorden van Foreest game. You know, we forego the c pawn, we're trying to go for the a pawn, and in a way, our bishop actually activated at a very weird square. So now king f5, Noctie dodges rook c6 check, but we'll still play rook c6 anyways, and so we will be able to win the a6 pawn. And so once we win the a6 pawn, now what we have going on for ourselves is the a pawn as the pass pawn. Notice that in the previous game, it was the c pawn that was the pass pawn. That was way, way easier for Noctie to deal with because the knights were closer. In this situation, the knights are further away from the a pawn. Hopefully that gives us an advantage. With all that being said, we still need to make good moves. So let's see. I'm assuming maybe bishop e7 is okay. Maybe there's knight d5, but there's a check. Also, alternatively, we could start with a check, force the king to maybe go backwards to g6. I could honestly see Noctie going king g4 as well, I'm not going to lie. That's a very active square for the king. Why not? But if Noctie goes back to g6, we will play bishop e7. We will trade, and then we can just stake everything at our a2 pawn. Just promote it. Just keep pushing. And again, if you're just curious what to do, show ideas button, kind of see rook f1, one of the moves that I suggested, or bishop f8, or rook a1. Just ignore everything else and just go for the checkmate. I love that a lot. I'll start with rook f1. I like this move. Okay, maybe king g4 is played, so that's kind of annoying. But luckily king g6 was played. So now I'll go bishop e7. I'll get rid of that knight. So I'll get rid of one of the knights, and then I will just start pushing my pawn. That's gonna be my goal, my plan. So I'll go rook a1. I'll make sure rook is behind pass pawn, right? If I had played a4, there's gonna be rook a2. It's gonna be kind of hard to push my pass pawn, okay? So knight c3, that's fine. This knight is still pinned, so I don't have to worry about it. There is a simple check, but the king will run away. I do have to watch out for this pawn as well. This is Noctie's counterplay, but I think luckily my king's going to be close enough. Yeah, maybe on the check I just go king f1. So with that being said, I think yeah, we're just gonna push it, and absolutely no problems. Yeah, check, we go there. E4. Yeah, it's a little bit risky. I will say that it's a little bit risky. Assuming the pawn goes further up the board. Check, I'll go king f1, no problems there. I think Noctie's going to try everything possible to attack my king with. Yep. That's exactly what Noctie's doing. I mean, it's commendable, honestly. It is what you need to do in these situations. You just need to go for counterplay. And my king is the weak piece, so that by all means makes a lot of sense. If I lose this pawn, then I lose that pawn, then there's some back ranks problems. Of course, getting rid of this knight is still on the table. I just don't know how to position my rook. That's where I'm kind of struggling. Where to position this guy? Maybe I'll do this. Finally, I think I'll take g3 again. There's this move, kind of annoying. But maybe we could just go king g1, king h1, and then there's a double attack, so we will win. We will win there. So g3 still works. Knight h3. Man, that's kind of upsetting. Yeah, the knight will kick out my king. So again, we staked everything on the a-pawn, so we should just be as brave as possible. And let's just go rook d6. That limits the knight there. Maybe it could be good. Again, I just don't think we care about this. I think we just push. Takes, king g1, rook g2, king h1. Okay, I guess Noctie could try to make progress with the king, but it's going to be too long, right? Or with the pawn, right? That's the other way. But we'll have rook g1 as a threat, so let's just push pawn. Let's just push pawn. I'm a man of simplicity. Let's just push the pawn. We can also go rook d1. That's an alternative option. I do like this, though. Yeah, Noctie could still try to do this, but yeah, I might just go king g1. Just play it a little bit safer. Rook g2, king h1, and then just keep pushing pawn. Simple plan. Get the king to a little bit of more of a safe square, king h1. And I think finally we are getting there. Yeah, king g5. I think I'll play rook g1. I think I'll get rid of or rook g4. Yeah, so Noctie's trying to do all the checks. Rook g1. I mean, the knight is controlled there. There, I will take it and I'll promote my pass pawn. So I will play rook g1 by all means necessary. Don't think Noctie is able to stop this pawn. So, yeah, I think the knight's too far away, and I think we're just winning now. Oh, but there's a check, knight d4. I guess I sack it, potentially. I made this a little bit complicated, for sure. Not gonna lie. Definitely a little bit complicated. But we should be winning. We should be winning with this pawn. Maybe I should have just pushed earlier, but I think ultimately I wanted to get rid of the rooks. So, yeah. No rook h4, don't panic. Knight e6, and we'll sack this, so we can just get rid of it, and then we'll play e7, and that's gonna be game. Okay, the one pawn, that's all we needed, just the one pawn, that's all we needed. Yep, a7, and next is gonna be queen. Again, this is pinned, so Noctie can't do anything against it, and I'm assuming after king f4 we'll trade and we'll promote, and we'll pick up all the pawns, and from there on we will checkmate Noctie, or yeah, rook takes g1, king takes g1, and then next move is promoting to a queen. And again, as I said, we will just clean up all the pawns, and afterwards we'll checkmate, and we'll go back into the starting position after this game to show you once again how powerful bishop c1 is. Alrighty, let's go back. The move that you want to start with against Noctie is bishop to c1, as we saw in the previous game. Noctie still goes for rook takes c4, rook takes c2. But let me show you why bishop c1 is such a good move. Obviously, we understood that we have bishop a3 and sort of put some pressure onto the king. But what if Noctie plays rook a4? Well, then you get to see the idea behind bishop c1. It has two functions. One of them is to play a3 to defend that pawn. So you're essentially ensuring that you're going to have a pass pawn. The second one is to play bishop b2, improve the bishop, and try to go for an attack on the e5 pawn. It's a very different plan from what happened in the game, the first game, and in Jorden van Foreest game. But according to the engine, of course, this is the best way to do it. As also in the game, we saw in the first one, the bishop on b6 wasn't the greatest. But we saw in the second game, the bishop on a3, it was just able to eliminate one of the dangerous hopping knights around. And from there, we were able to promote our pass pawn. So that's really why I recommend bishop c1. And now you understand the reasonings behind it. There is the intention of going bishop a3, but there's also the intention of going bishop b2, going for the pawn. And lastly, if rook a4, you're going to be able to play a3 and keep that pawn protected. So in the future, when you get rid of the a6 pawn, that's going to be your pass pawn. Good luck in your games, and I'll see you in the next one.